Okay, your voice, your vote. The presidential election, the Nevada Republican primary made history yesterday for nominating no one. Really, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley appears to have lost decisively to the, quote, none of these candidates option on the ballot. And she lost by nearly 2-to-1 margin. It's another troubling sign for her campaign as she continues to seek momentum against the last rival, Donald Trump there. So for more, let's bring in ABC News political director Rick Klein. This has got to hurt, losing to none of the above. But what does this mean, really, for her campaign?
Maybe the most 2024 outcome ever to have no one winning a primary. Look, I'll give you some caveats first, Terry. Nikki Haley didn't campaign at all in Nevada. The primary actually doesn't award votes at all. That's the caucuses where Donald Trump is running unopposed tomorrow. That said, her name was on the ballot, Donald Trump's wasn't, and she lost badly. And there was not an organized effort to try to elect Donald Trump or elect no one. It wasn't even like the Biden write-in effort in New Hampshire. So yes, this is a rebuke by people that voted, even knowing that those votes were essentially meaningless. And yes, it's a disappointment for the Haley campaign. Privately, there were folks close to the campaign that were thinking, you know, she might get 50, 60%. I don't think many people thought she would actually lose outright to none of the above. But yeah, it's not a great sign with her home state of South Carolina a little more than 2 weeks away. She's going to have to notch victories then and beyond. And so far, she has nothing to show for the first states that are counting votes. And tomorrow is going to be another loss because she's not even on the ballot in the Nevada caucuses. Yeah, ouch.
Rick, the conventional wisdom in some ways going into the campaign was that Donald Trump has an absolute rock-solid hold on X% of Republicans, whatever it is, 40, 45%. But there may be a majority who is looking around. That majority now seems not to be in existence. It looks like he's kind of wrapped it up. Where does she go from here?
Well, that's it, Terry. She's finally gotten that head-to-head. And she had it, for all intents and purposes, in New Hampshire, and she fell short. New Hampshire was almost an ideal situation because you have the opportunity for independent voters to vote. In South Carolina, it's even better because even registered Democrats, or they don't have any party registration, so even Democrats can vote in South Carolina. But you're right. At some point, you have to actually win if you're going to beat Donald Trump. And the notion that there is a majority of Republicans that oppose Donald Trump is simply not true. It hasn't been borne out in any poll or in any state that's voted so far. The notion that there's a majority of Republican primary voters might also not be true. That's going to be tested in South Carolina, and I should say in a dozen or so Super Tuesday states that allow non-Republicans to vote. Haley's going to have to show that she can win somewhere because that's the only way that you make a case to donors and ultimately to voters that you have a viable campaign.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle for her. So meanwhile, on the Democratic side, President Biden wins the Nevada Democratic primary. You know, is there anything in these results, any negative signs that you see or positive for the president?
I mean, the only negative is that turnout was way down, which you'd expect because it isn't, the Republican primary didn't count at all, as I said, and on the Democratic side, there really wasn't a serious contest. I think the negative might be in some of the things that Dean Phillips, the congressman from Minnesota, is saying. He's saying out loud that Democrats are making a huge mistake in nominating Joe Biden and pointing out some of the verbal gaffes and mistakes he's had and things that might be a function of his age. But other than that, I think the early primaries have gone just about as well as the Biden team could have planned. They won in the write-in campaign in New Hampshire. They won 96% or something in South Carolina, and Nevada keeps it rolling, and he's so far won every single delegate that's been awarded.
Yeah, it seems polls show this is the campaign nobody wanted, but the people who vote in primaries and caucuses, that's where it's happening.
Here we go.
Thanks very much, Rick Klein.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.